Are you a gay man who's ready to have the best sex of your life? If you're struggling with body shame, performance anxiety, or feeling like you're not enough in the bedroom, this video is for you. Let's break down the myths that are holding you back from experiencing the pleasure you deserve and help you unleash your sexual confidence. My name is Eric Feltus, and I'm a life coach who has helped hundreds of gay men break free from shame and build confidence and live empowered lives with a supportive community. In today's video, we're going to talk about one of the most important topics when it comes to building a healthy relationship with ourselves: sex. Too many gay men are held back from experiencing the best sex of their lives because of shame. Shame around our bodies, our desires, or even our past experiences. But what if we could eliminate that shame and reclaim our pleasure? That's what I'm here to help you do today. Now, you may not think you need this, but if you've ever felt like you weren't sexy enough, not performing well enough, maybe your body's not doing what you want it to do in the moment, or maybe you just feel awkward or insecure to fully enjoy sex, I've got you covered. You're in the right place. By the end of this video, my goal is to help you to feel more confident in your own skin, embrace your sexuality without judgment, and experience the kind of sex that feels truly empowering. If you're ready to leave shame behind, let's dive in. But first, I want to tell you a story. So when I was putting my notes together for this video, I kept thinking about one of my clients. He came to me when he was 67. He had been married to a woman most of his life, but he came out about 6 years prior to us working together. When he came to me, he still had not been physical with a man, not even once. His priority in the Shame-Free Gay Life program was to finally have sex with a man. So we got to work right away on, first and foremost, identifying the barriers that were preventing that from happening. By the way, that's the first step, is identify the barriers that are holding you back. So that's what we did first. And in doing so, we realized that he was harboring a ton of shame throughout his life, compounded interest amount of shame. He felt deep down as if being gay was wrong, right? Logically, he knew it wasn't wrong, but it still didn't feel right in his body, especially acting on those same-sex desires. In our work together, it did not take long, though, for us to eliminate that shame. And in the first 3 weeks of our time together, he had sex with a man. Now, just to be clear, though, this is just one story. I've worked with men in their early 20s all the way into their late 70s who have very similar journeys. And so what I want to do is I want to share with you everything that I've learned along the way from working with these men. If you don't know what shame is, you might want to watch one of my previous videos where I talk about it, but I'll give you a quick breakdown here. Shame is, actually, you know what I'll do is I'll drop it in the show notes, a video where I talk about what shame is. But very briefly, shame is this belief that you're bad, that you're not enough, that you're a failure, that you don't measure up, that you're not worthy, that it's hopeless. It's all of those negative thoughts that are not helpful, that are holding you back. So how does shame get in the way of sexual pleasure? Well, you know, whether it's tied to body image, past trauma, social conditioning, or religious beliefs, shame often will prevent gay men from fully enjoying sex. So I'm curious for you, how does shame affect your sex life? I'm going to give you 4 things that I hear from a lot of the men I work with. Number 1, fear of rejection or judgment. You know, this leads to performance anxiety and can stop you from being fully present during intimacy. Maybe self-doubt and insecurity. You know, these feelings can create barriers to sexual confidence, preventing you from feeling fully connected to yourself and to your partner. Past trauma, negative experiences, whether from childhood or past relationships, shame can hold you back from trusting your body and your desires. It could also keep you from being present. Body image shame. Many men feel they're not sexy or attractive enough. By the way, anytime you have a thought of I'm not blank enough or I'm too blank, that's shame. Right? I'm too loud, I'm too obnoxious, I'm not funny enough, I'm not sexy enough, I'm not successful enough. All of that is shame. So many of us struggle with not fully loving our bodies. We might feel like we're too overweight or worry that our body, especially our penis, doesn't measure up or perform the way we want it to. I've worked with men who experience erectile dysfunction, who experience premature ejaculation. Not always, and I'm not a doctor, but oftentimes those are symptoms of shame because we're all in our head and we're not in the present moment, right? Or you just don't like the way your body looks for one reason or another, so that can prevent you from having the best sex possible. These thoughts, they create a constant cycle of self-judgment, of preventing pleasure of the moment, preventing presence, right? Creates a cycle of fear and self-judgment that just makes it difficult to truly enjoy intimate moments. Additionally, shame is going to lie to you. Here actually are 8 common myths around gay sex and sexuality. Myth number 1, gay sex is dirty and shameful. This myth is often ingrained through religious or societal teachings. The reality is that gay sex, like any consensual sex, is a natural expression of intimacy and pleasure. Myth number 2, there's only one right way to have sex. There are actually endless ways to experience pleasure. Your desires, your boundaries and experiences are valid no matter what society or others might say. And to add to this, I hear a lot of people say things like, well, I don't know if I'm a top or a bottom. I guess I'm just never going to have good sex. Or I don't know how to top or bottom, or I can't top or bottom. Therefore, I can never have pleasurable sex. Here's the thing, if that's you, there's no one right way to have or not have sex, right? And it doesn't have to include that. A lot of people don't have penetrative sex and still enjoy sexual activity very much. So if you feel as if because you can't do that or don't want to do that, then there's something wrong with you and therefore you're not good enough to be a good partner, that's just not true. It's a myth. Myth number 3, you have to be sexually confident to enjoy great sex. It helps, but in reality, freedom from shame and acceptance of yourself is the key to having fulfilling and pleasurable experience. Even if you don't feel 100% confident, it's okay. Embracing who you are and where you are now is more important. And at any point in time, if you're not feeling confident, tell your partner, let your partner know. It's just going to bring you closer together. Myth number 4, being good in bed is the ultimate goal. It's not about performance. It's about connection, trust, and pleasure. Good sex for one person might not be good sex for someone else anyway, so it's all relative, right? But when we release the pressure of being perfect, it opens up space for authenticity and deeper connection and deeper enjoyment. Myth number 5, your sexual identity is fixed. Sexuality is fluid. As we evolve, so do our desires. Letting go of shame allows you to explore this fluidity freely without fear of judgment. I'm not just talking about the type of person you might want to have sex with. I'm talking also about the things you might want to enjoy. You might absolutely not want to do something today, but in 5 years, maybe it's what you'll love most. Be open, be fluid, be present. Myth number 6, sex is only successful if all parties involved have an orgasm. Yes, orgasms are often seen as the ultimate goal. But the reality is that sex is about connection and pleasure and intimacy. Not every sexual experience needs to culminate in an orgasm for it to be meaningful or fulfilling. Heck, not every good sexual experience even has to have an erect penis. I know that these are the goals we have, and we enjoy those things, right? But they are not absolutely necessary for the experience to be good. But so if that happens, get out of your head, be present in the moment. Myth number 7, you shouldn't ask for what you want in bed. Advocating for your desires is essential for good sex. When you communicate openly with your partner, it enhances connection, consent, and mutual pleasure. Myth number 8, pleasure is just physical. When you let go of shame, you can experience sex as a more holistic, fulfilling experience rather than a transactional or one-dimensional act. These things are not true. Gay sex is dirty or shameful. There's only one right way to have sex. You have to be sexually confident to enjoy sex. Being good in bed is the ultimate goal. Your sexual identity is fixed. Sex is only successful if all parties involved have an orgasm. You shouldn't ask for what you want in bed. Pleasure is just physical. Wrong, 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 wrong. All right, let's move on. These are practical tips to cultivate confidence and pleasure. The first tip is just acknowledge what's holding you back. Have I said that before? Acknowledge what's holding you back. Acknowledge the beliefs that are holding you back. Acknowledge the myths that are holding you back. And ask yourself, is this helpful? And if it's not helpful, be open to something different. Okay, so practical tips on top of acknowledging the unhelpful beliefs holding you back. Number one, practice positive affirmations. Start your day with affirmations like, I am worthy of pleasure, or I accept myself fully as I am. This helps shift your mindset and lays the foundation for self-love and sexual confidence. Bonus points if you do it naked in front of the mirror. Practical tip number 2, communicate openly with your partner or partners. I kind of already said this, but it's important to say it again. Have honest conversations about desires, boundaries, and needs. Quick thing about boundaries. A boundary is simply stating what's okay and what's not okay. And I think it's really helpful before you take your clothes off to state what you're okay with and what you're not okay with, whether this is a long-term partner or the first time and potentially only time you'll be seeing them, right? Lay out what you're okay with and lay out what you're not okay with. You will enjoy this situation more if those boundaries are put in place. Tip number 3, understand your desires. Take time to figure out what turns you on, what feels good, and what you enjoy in intimacy. Self-awareness will allow you to guide your partner, build deeper connections, and feel more confident. Let go of comparison. Oh my gosh, let go of comparison. Everyone's sexual journey is different. Stop comparing yourself to others, especially people in porn. Dan Savage uses this metaphor a lot of, when you watch a Fast and the Furious movie, you don't leave the movie theater, get in your car, and jump off the side of the road in your car and see a big explosion and live to tell the day. Like, you don't drive the way they do in that movie. So why would you expect your sex life to be the same as it is in porn? It's not real. It's staged, right? So don't let that get in your head. Let go of comparison. Comparison, as they say, thief of joy. All right, next tip. Nurture emotional intimacy. Great sex starts with emotional connection. Fostering trust, vulnerability, and care between you and your partner will translate into a more satisfying and enjoyable sexual experience. Okay, next tip. Practice on your own, my goodness. Masturbation, anal play, etc. Spend time exploring your body and discovering what feels good to you. Engaging in solo activities like masturbation and other forms of self-pleasure can help you understand your sexual preferences, build confidence, and free yourself from that shame. This kind of exploration can enhance your sexual experiences with a partner, making it easier to communicate your needs. And as I'm saying this, I'm just thinking about one of my clients. I've talked about anal sex, right? And I had a client once who really wanted to bottom, but just was terrified of it, wasn't able to perform in the bedroom. I asked how many times they practiced alone. They said 0. I said, to me, that's like putting on a live concert in front of an audience without rehearsing first. Everything can be done in the safety of your own home first. I think there's this idea that we're just born with the talent of having good sex or not. And that's just not true. Like, we all learn, we all grow along the way, like anything, right? Like learning a language, like dance, like you get it. I said, get a couple of dildos, get one that's small and get one that might be medium size and practice with the small one first. Practice on your own first. Practice, practice, practice. Okay. And the last tip that I have, just the tip, seek professional help. If it gets to that point and you really need help, seek help. If you experience severe trauma, seek therapy. I love therapy. I'm a life coach, so quick difference about therapy and coaching. A therapist kind of focuses on where you are in the past and how that affects your present, whereas a coach focuses more on the present and gets you the life you want in the future. I have worked with men that have therapy backgrounds and some that don't. And I love working with both types of people. I do think that it can be helpful for some people in some situations to have a therapist. If we're talking outside of, intense trauma, maybe a life coach is the right thing for you because they tend to be a little more action oriented. And specifically, I like working with gay men because shame will tell us that we're alone in this, that you're the only one that experiences this. I will tell you personal stories about my own life in our one-on-one calls when we meet. That'll kind of help you to realize that you're not alone in this. And sometimes that is just groundbreaking for people and really helps you get that shame-free sex life that you want. So, if this resonates with you, DM me the word help on Instagram. You can email me, reach out to me. You just say the word help, or you can say, I saw this video, I want help. That's all you need to know. We'll go from there. In summary, I just want to say that shame can hold us back from experiencing the best sex of our lives. But the good news is that once we recognize how it affects us, we can start to change the narrative. By letting go of myths and misconceptions about sex and embracing our bodies, desires, and experiences, we can liberate ourselves and truly, deeply enjoy connected and fulfilling intimacy. Just a final thought. I want you to remember that your sexuality, it's yours. Regardless of what you learned about sex growing up, either in the church or purity culture or your family or whatever. Just a quick example there, like 90% of the people I knew growing up got married at a young age. I grew up Catholic. So you could see how, as a single gay man in their 20s and 30s, I had to wrestle with some of those ideas and realize that I'm just different. This is my story to own, not theirs, right? Because we all deserve to have that sex life that we want. And the more you embrace who you are, the more you'll unlock the incredible pleasure that's waiting for you. So my hope is that after watching this video, you feel empowered to let go of shame and start embracing your sexuality with confidence and pride. And again, if this video resonated with you, or if you have any questions, I really would love to hear from you. Drop any questions or comments in the chat. I will respond. But if you need one-on-one help, or you just want to hear more about what we can do, a couple of things. Yeah, you can DM me help on Instagram. Again, my Instagram is in the show notes. But there's also a link to book a call with me. So you can always just book that, click that link in the show notes and book that call. And if you found this helpful, please subscribe for more. And even better, share it with a friend. Share this, share this, share this. And that's all I got for today. Thanks for being here. I'm Eric Feltus, and I'll see you soon.